following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbb-radio.com.
Welcome to 71Kicks, everybody. Boy, it's a big day. It's a big day. And you know what it is a big day for? It's a big day to be a gunner. Big day to be a gunner, folks. We're going to a Champions League final. Make the noise. Wow. Yeah, this is a tame reaction from me, honestly. This is a tame reaction. Because I'm dead inside right now. You know, the team has just thrown me through every hoop and hurdle this season. And, you know, I don't know what to expect and what to feel anymore. So, Champions League final. We did it.
I remember the fun days of making those, and must be nice, let's say the least.
I mean, it is pretty freaking nice right now. It's crazy. It's just like, it's surreal to say, because like I've said, you know, there's been a lot going on the past couple of weeks. Welcome back, everybody. We haven't been on for a little while, but there has been a lot going on, and honestly, it's been so turbulent and so crazy that God, like I said to my friend, if we win anything this year, it's just going to be the culmination of this project that we're celebrating. And it's not going to be something where I feel like I want to celebrate this season. You know, it's not going to feel like I want to celebrate anything that we did this year, because this has just been such an interesting and dynamic year just in a whole for the league, where it's just been so turbulent and you can't predict anything. But I've been saying, like, it's going to be interesting to see how we set, like, it's just the project and everything that's the culminating in this, you know, next 4 games that we got. It's just insane to see what's happening here. But again, it's not over. It's not over at all. So that's why I'm saying it's not over. It's surreal to be feeling a Champions League final, but job ain't over. Job finished. Job ain't over.
Job is not finished.
Nope.
That is for sure. Especially given the two on the other side of the bracket that are going to try and book their ticket tomorrow, and how crazy of a game they played last time. It's far from over, if you ask me.
That game last Tuesday was one of the craziest games I've ever watched. And it goes up there with like the top 5 of games, or top 3 even, where, you know, you look at that Argentina versus Netherlands World Cup game, the Argentina France World Cup final. You know, if I were to sit here and keep thinking of more games, like, you know, Arsenal bias, I throw in the Real Madrid game from last year. But like, that was such a game of goals, of just back and forth football, the intensity with the play, just everything you want from this kind of competition, just fully displaying what Champions League football is all about. Like, that was such a good game, and it's insane to see where it goes. You know, like PSG only has the advantage by 1 goal right now, but that's 1 goal in a 5-4 score line, which is insane to think and say. Like,
yep,
the craziest advantage Bayern has here is playing at home. But even with that, like, are they home or are they away? I think they like
Bayern are home. They're home for the second leg, yeah.
Okay. Because I mean, who'd they play before this series? It was Bayern.
Real Madrid.
Real. See, even the home game they played against Real Madrid, that was an interesting game, because like that was also pretty like flux football. I think Real Madrid got a goal, and it was a close score. I don't think it was a close score in that game, because I think
it's nothing like what we witnessed last week.
No, exactly.
That is. I mean, like I think some of the players said, like, it's not like anybody defended poorly. just the attacking quality that was on display was just so incredible. I mean, you just pick your poison with any of the goals, really. Like the Kravitskhelia goal, just like beautiful play. The Dembele shot for the fifth goal, like just snuck it in, like literally inch perfect shot off the post to go in. Like the Luis Diaz, like juggling it a couple times and hitting on the volley, like just smashing it past Sapenoff or however you say it. Um, I mean, yeah, it was just like the highest quality display. Like Olise's goal, they gave him too much time, and he just put it straight through it, like Neuer. Like it didn't even, or not sorry, not Neuer. So Sapenoff again. Like it's just it's just watching the two best attacking like teams saying, I don't care what the score is, I don't care who you have on your team. We are just going to go band for band. I'm going to attack. You are going to attack. We're going to play like if you catch us in transition, we catch us in transition. However many goals you score, we are going to score more, or we're going to try and score more. And it just made for one of the most entertaining games in any sport that I have had the privilege to watch. Like I had to watch it at no, I got to watch it at home. And I was just sitting there just in complete awe. I very rarely like get overly excited watching a game that's not involving Chelsea just because like obviously I love the sport, but just it's not the same level of passion when I'm not watching Chelsea when I'm watching these games. Um and that game, every goal, I was just like jumping out of my seat, like just like wow, this is what the sport's about.
Right.
Like I mean, there's people that are the losers of the world that are complaining, oh, it's not defensive enough, or where's the defense? It's like they were making plays. Like Upamecano made 3 or 4 really great defensive contributions. Like uh Nuno Mendes had Elise like pinned down a couple like a few times in that game. Like it was a really just well played game all around. Like defensively, like it's hard to say it was a good defensive game when there was 9 goals scored, but there just was like it was just those great defensive moments, just overshadowed by excellence in midfield and especially in the attack. Like it was just so transitional. Like it felt like a basketball game of how back and forth it was at times. Like
Exactly.
it was just unbelievable. Like it's one of those games that if you're trying to get somebody to watch the sport, that's one of the first games you show them.
Right. Right. A game like that because it's got the
That's
goals, it's got the back and forth
how
play.
sport can get.
Yeah. And you made the good point on the fans complaining about it not being defensive enough because then they do exactly the same thing when they look at the Arsenal game versus Atletico and they're like, "Oh, this game's too defensive. They're not playing enough attacking football."
Which it
And
was because it's absolute
yeah,
snooze fest in both legs.
but
But
what it's done, it's now created this great final that we can have where it's one of the best defensive teams in Europe versus, either one of the best attacking teams in Europe. And you're going to have a very interesting, game unfold there. Like, we're only just having our attack kind of find its form. Like we can find, even more form in the next 3 games, hopefully, and get more goals because that's the other thing that we got to worry about with the City creeping down our neck. But um, like the Arsenal attack is something that can't compare at all to either of the two attacks that they're about to face. So that's why uh, to have, I think they said 8 clean sheets in the Champions League today, and to have that going into a final and the best record and unbeaten this season in the Champions League, that's just huge. And it's going to be the biggest confidence booster they got going into that game. I'll tell you that because they can play their game and try to frustrate the opponents just that one more time of the season, and hopefully that's it. And hopefully we can do it. Um, yeah, but this Bayern PSG game tomorrow is going to be another cinema type game that everybody should be sitting down to watch because that's going to be
yeah,
such a good game.
yeah, and I think regardless for Arsenal, um, they're really gonna have to dig deep into the final.
Yeah,
Like
oh
it,
yeah,
like I mean that's not a you know not it's not me trying to be like a hater on Arsenal. Like obviously I don't want Arsenal to win. I want them to suffer as much as possible. Of course not at your expense, but like it just is what it is. But against either of these teams, they're not going to see a lot of the ball in the come the final. I just don't see it happening. Um, they're going to have to be pretty precise and pretty quick on their counterattacks. Um, Obviously, I think from a defensive standpoint, like I think PSG and Bayern are vulnerable at times. Especially like PSG, like neither of their fullbacks really want to defend. They both want to get forward as much as possible. Um, but I think like getting the ball and creating chances is going to be a problem for Arsenal in the final, just given that like how much I think Vitinha and Joe Neves are going to run the game, and how much Kimmich and Pavlovic I think are going to like run the game, vice versa wise, and just the creativity that Bayern attack with, and I think the thing too with both of these teams is like if Arsenal do have a stage of possession or they have like periods of possession, I think they're more vulnerable when they're in possession almost because the way PSG and Bayern both love the press, um, how quick they are and how like efficient they are on their counterattack, especially PSG, like their counterattack versus Bayern was just unbelievable. Um, and Arsenal defends the counterattack pretty well most of the time, but they really have to like dig deep, focus. Like as much as like everybody wants to hate on Arsenal for like a round ball and all that stuff, like they're going to need to pull it out to like their most efficient and best usage to date, because that is the only way I see them winning this final against either of these teams. That's not me hating on Arsenal. That's not me trying
No,
to be
no, it's
biased
the truth.
against
It's
them.
the truth.
Like this, I watch PSG and Bayern play in the Champions League this season, and I'm getting a little PTSD from PSG this season already, and maybe a little bit from Bayern too from earlier in the year. But like
Yeah.
the way they just go at your throat nonstop, like with the creativity that they create between Elise, like the problems Kane causes by dropping back and letting Luis Diaz run by him, like and drawing the center backs out a little bit, and the cam or somebody makes a late run, like or whatever it ends up being, like it is a like Arteta has to have a masterclass. Like it
Yeah,
has to
it's
be
been too much of a season drilled on this defensive pragmatic ball that you can't just throw it away at this point. You
yes.
can't just go in with a new game plan and try to be like, all right, we're gonna snap on this counter against them,
Yeah.
and I want to
If
see like
they
the quick ball over the top. Like we can't just start, changing our entire dynamic up just because we've made it to this final. Like it's exactly as I said. Just go in with a peak. Going with the peak form of what we've been doing all year, which is the haram ball, and that's what we got to do, man. Just
yeah.
like to do our best with sitting back and just absorbing their attack as best as we can. It's doable. I think it's doable, but
Yeah, to say
again,
like anybody that's saying there's no way Arsenal don't win or like there's no way Arsenal win, I think is just discrediting Arsenal. Like they're going to provide a challenge to either PSG or Bayern. It's not going to be some game like last year where it's 5-0 in the final.
right,
Um,
because yeah, if it ends up being that way, it just shows that this project and everything that's been built has just been meaningless because they can just you know, they can collapse completely when the pressure is on in a game like this, or as the example for the season, leading up to a title race, and what could potentially happen if we don't win it right now. So,
yeah. And
like,
I do think so I my pick has been Bayern to win the Champions League
yeah,
pretty much all year. Since the beginning of the season, like I've been very high on this Bayern team. I mean, that's not some masterclass in thinking or anything. Obviously,
so many people have
um,
said that with
they've just
Bayern.
been pumping 3, 4 goals against pretty much everybody they play. Like it's just ridiculous what they've done this season from an attacking output standpoint. Um, but in some ways, I almost think that PSG is more like drilled to win this final than Bayern. Um, I just think from like an organization standpoint, Luis Enrique has them more drilled than company has Bayern. That's not saying taking anything away from Bayern. I just think like the identity and the style of play that PSG wants to play, every single player on that pitch knows what they should be doing at all times, it feels like, regardless of the situation, regardless of what's going on. Like they clearly have the confidence that you need going into a final. Um, as we saw last year, there wasn't a nervous bone in any of their bodies, it looked like. Um, and I do think that is a thing when it comes to finals that does matter, especially since PSG, like they just went there, they just did it last year. Um, Pretty much the same squad, I think, with a couple minor changes here and there. I think Sapinoff instead of Donnarumma. Um,
Right.
uh, but besides that, like they're a very confident, well-driven team. And I don't see Arsenal showing up to that game with the same confidence that PSG had last year. I just see the like I'm not gonna like name names or anything. I just see the nerves coming out from some of those players on the day, and maybe PSG shits themselves a little bit. Maybe they're like, oh, we can go back to back here. Like maybe maybe Bayern gets a little bit nervous. Like Bayern will be, I think, nervous as well because they have a lot of young players that haven't been to a final yet. Um, Obviously Kane doesn't have the greatest track records in finals either.
Right.
So I think he's gonna feel a lot of pressure to really perform. Um, but yeah, so it'll
Yeah,
be interesting,
it's a good
to say the
point
least.
there.
I do think whoever wins the PSG Bayern tie will go through. I do think it's going to be Bayern. They just only being down one, going back home to the Allianz. I just think they're going to just squeeze it out. I think it'll go to extra time. To be honest, like I don't see this ending in a normal time. Like I can see it going to penalties. Like I see this being like another probably 3-2 kind of game. Like I don't see it being low scoring.
Right.
Um, I don't see either team running away with it. I just think we're going to see another display of the two best teams, in my opinion, right now, the two best teams in Europe going at each other for a place in the final. And then, it'll be theirs for the taking, but it'll be a very difficult game against Arsenal because that's the only way Arsenal knows to play is making things difficult. So it's very, very intriguing prospect. Obviously, from an entertainment standpoint, it might not be what it was for the semifinal between Bayern and PSG, but it'll either way. I think it'll be a very intriguing game and very much like a chess match. Um,
For the
so
final.
we'll have to see. That's a few weeks away.
Yeah.
We got to see who makes it first, and then we can kind of give a little more of an in-depth review on the match and kind of speaking generally, just because it's two different options, but looking forward to it either way. So
Yeah, yeah, it'll be a good game and a good clash coming up there. Yeah, like you're saying with PSG being more prepared for a final, like it's basically a carbon copy squad when you look at what they just were like in last year to this year. So like they'll definitely be more prepared and the pressure will be on, like you're saying, for Harry Kane. And speaking from like the standpoint of who you'd rather see us play as an Arsenal fan, Bayern is definitely, excuse me, geez, the more appealing of the two just because of that like aspect of, the pressure up front for your star player having, that track record of, not really capitalizing in these big games. That can just that sends the whole thing through the squad. But then it's you look at Arsenal, it's the same thing just within the entire team. So we'll see what goes on. A lot to predict there with it, but we'll have, like you're saying, a better analysis when we look ahead to that, and we're able to figure out which teams are competing. Um, yeah. Oh man, my cat is just loving it, loving that. I'm not paying attention to him. But hey, man, we've kind of talked enough about this Champions League and the kind of prospect I have coming up a year ahead. If you want to touch on it a bit, maybe we just you know pull the thread on the Chelsea story and debacle of what you got going on. I think
yeah,
last time we
um,
spoke, it was the potential of if you fired, Rosnier, and now he's gone. So
yeah. I forgot we haven't really had an episode since Rashini's been sacked.
yeah, we're senior. Yeah,
Um,
I didn't
so
even
for
bother.
the
So you want to know what's just crazy? I didn't even bother to learn the dude's name. Didn't even bother. You
I
said
mean,
senior. I had never thought to learn what this guy's name was going to be because it's just like you take one look at him and it's like, all right, I'm not going to see him next season. Who cares about this dude?
yep,
Who
yep,
cares what this guy is and who he's going to be?
yep.
Sure enough, that's what happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because um a lot of people, especially after the Forest game, would have been 2 days, or no, it would have been yesterday. Um, there's a lot of people that are very emotional right now from the Chelsea fan base. And rightfully so, because there's a lot of people that feel like the club we once knew was dead. Um, and I'm kind of inclined to agree. Um, it's just crazy. Like a year ago, around this time, we were getting ready for the Conference League final. That's the biggest deal in the world, but like we're looking forward to going to the Club World Cup. Obviously, we won the Club World Cup, so like more pre-season. There's a lot of expectations on this squad to really, maybe not win the league, but make a run at it at least, or be like up there for a while, like be in the mix for a while. Which we never really were even in the mix this season. I mean, we're not going to be in Champions League. That's pretty much guaranteed. I think if we win the FA Cup, we're in Europa League. Otherwise, I don't really see us making top six even. I mean, I think if Villa wins the wins the Europa League, then six becomes the Champions League spot because they're already top five. I don't see us getting that spot either. I mean, quite frankly, we're gonna be lucky to win a game again in the Prem this season, or just in general to win another game. I think we're gonna be lucky to see that this season. Um, it's easy to just point fingers at Rosenior because of how bad of a manager he clearly was, or I don't even want to say bad of a manager, just clearly out of his depth for this job, which everybody said maybe he's a fine manager. Um, but he was always out of his depth. He was always like, trying to walk in the deep end. Like it just never he never was the right candidate for this job. And there's all these reports coming about how like the players would mock him and didn't really respect him. And I think now we're at a point in the season where like we're so far off of everything that the players expected. And I think just the difference between what the expectation was from Maresca. And let's be honest here, like Maresca was having some issues this season. Like it wasn't all sunshines and rainbows, and Maresca was still the manager. Like, so I'm not gonna just throw Rosenior completely under the bus. Um, but at the same time, the decision to bring in Rosenior and how Rosenior did things was not taken too well by the squad. And I think what we're seeing now, especially, is a lack of leadership in this squad. I mean, your captain Enzo Fernandez, who's been when Reece James is hurt, like which is been a couple months now, or a month and a half, whatever it's been. Um, and Enzo Fernandez is supposed to be your captain. He's supposed to be the leader on the pitch, and he's getting suspended for a couple games because of he was making comments about flirting with another club, which I get it. Um, I really don't see him sticking around this summer, to be honest. Like as far as I'm concerned, I think he's already gone. Like he's got one foot out the door. It feels like, unless we really bring in somebody that really gets him excited again. But like he's the one with the armband on, and you just lose 3-1 at home against a team like fighting relegation. I mean, I think Forest is pretty much safe now. Like not mathematically safe, but they're going to be safe. And he doesn't even have the courtesy to just walk around and apologize to the fans. You know what I mean? Like it's like I love Reece James too, but like he's at one point it's like the 80 something minute, we're down 3-0, and he's like I know he's not playing, but like there's a picture of him like laughing. And it's like, what are you possibly laughing about while we're down 3-0? Like, what is there to laugh about right now? Um, obviously, a lot of fans are already on the blue co out, and where there's the fuck off Egbali chants and everything ringing around, and there's protests. But the reality situation is like they're not going anywhere. Um, and I think that's a tough pill for a lot of fans to swallow. And I think if they cause enough commotion, they're just like, let's fuck this. It's not worth it. But at the end of the day, they're not going anywhere. And as much as we want to blame the managers and we want to blame the ownership, the players just aren't showing up. And there's just players that just simply aren't fucking good enough as well. Like, why is Tosin playing in this game? We haven't looked secure with Tosin at the back one time in any competition that we've played this season. Why is he playing? Malo Gusto is the biggest fraud of a player. I think I've like the PR that Chelsea fans have tried to give this guy for him to consistently fuck up over and over. Like the penalty he gave up, inexcusably fucking stupid. Inexcusably stupid. Like, they're gonna call that every single time. But they're just lucky it was Anthony Taylor. Otherwise, he would have called it right away. If we had like an actual competent ref, we would have called it right away. But since it was Anthony Taylor, he had to go to VAR first, so he had to re-see it because that fucking
Right, right.
dumbass. Um, Enzo Fernandez, like, I don't know what his like great player. I just don't know what his best position is. You know what I mean? Like, I love Chalaba. He's just not good enough to be a starting center back for Chelsea. He's just not. Cucurella just kind of, I think, just is kind of getting weighed down by the fact that the rest of the squad's not playing that well. Like, it's like the things that he excels at, he's not able to do right now. So, like, I think he's not played great, but I think it's largely down to like just an overall failure in the system and what we've been doing. Caicedo, his form's dipped, but I still think he gives it his all every fucking week. And then there's the big one I think everybody's been talking about recently, Cole Palmer. Like, I don't know what his deal is. I got nothing. But at some point, like, you have to show up.
I was about to say
And
the wanted ad should be out for him. Like, have you seen this man, Cole Palmer? Like,
yeah,
he
because
hasn't been
I don't know
around
what's going
for
on
the
with him right
year of
now,
2026.
but he is a shadow of the player he was. Even like the second half of last season when he wasn't scoring goals, he was like if you actually watch the games, you would know he actually was having an effect on games.
Yeah.
Just when you're passing the ball to Madueke, Pedro Neto, and Jackson, you're only going to get so many goals and assists with that as the front three around you. And I
Yeah.
do think there are times where he has suffered with the likes of Neto, Garnacho, Liam Delap around him. But he's supposed to be this great player that we've hyped him up to be as a fan base, and he's got all this media, the press from the English press, to be that he can create chances out of nothing. And we haven't seen any of that this season from him. And I know he was injured start of the season early, and maybe he's not fully recovered, or maybe he's like, but the excuses are gone. At some point, you have to just dig fucking deep and show up. And I'm going to give a huge shout out to two players. First off, João Pedro, because he's been inconsistent at times this season, but in my opinion, easily been our player of the season.
Still bagged a goal on
Like,
that 3-1 against Nottingham.
yeah. And what a fucking goal it was, too. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know why he's doing that 3-1 down, but like, hey, I'll take it. You know what I mean? It broke the drought finally.
Yep.
He was just narrowly offside on another one. Like, so, there's a reason why he's linked with Barca. And apparently, he's the number one name on Barca's like list to replace Lewandowski, which we cannot afford to lose him unless we're bringing in somebody that's better. But like 15 goals in his first season with Chelsea, just in the Prem alone, 20 in all comps. Great first season with the club, and that's with really not a lot of great support this season, if we're being completely honest. Obviously, I can dive into the issues with the people like the Garnachos and the Laps that I'm hoping aren't at the club next year. But the other shout I want to give to is Jesse Derry. Made his Premier League debut, went off unfortunately with a concussion, won a penalty. But like the kid put his life, like not his life, I don't know if his life is the right word to put, but he put his life on the line for the fucking team in his first game. And that's the shit I want to see from our players that I haven't been seeing is just the willingness to just get stuck in, like fight for the badge, fight for the club, fight for the team, fight for the fans. And Derry, I think, really should have put a lot of the rest of the squad to shame. The fact he was willing to like go in, get a really nasty head injury, like get rushed to the hospital after the game was over. I think he's fine. I think he's just has a concussion, but like he's fine. But like he played for the 45 minutes he played, he put his all on the line. And I thought he played pretty well. Obviously, he's an 18-year-old. He's only going to do so much in his first game. Like the expectation can only be so high. We have a lot of expectations from him from the club and the fan base. I really like him as a prospect. He reminds me a little bit too much of Jack Grealish, but it depends on what version of Grealish we get out of him. But it's just, at some point, like we can play about the ownership is a problem. I'm not going to act like sit here and tell you it's not a problem. Clear Lake is not a great ownership group. Like they've spent a lot of money stupidly on, for example, everybody could have told you Garnacho was not ready, was not good enough for Chelsea. Everybody could have told you that Jamie Giddens only had a purple patch last season and needed more time or should have been sent on loan this year. Like, we all could have told you Liam Senior was not suitable enough manager for the job. We've been asking for, Toaston to not play, and he considered managers still continue to play him. Like, we asked for Betty Shield to get sold. We asked for a new goalkeeper, and I feel bad saying that for about Sanchez because half the season he was good, and then he got benched. It seems like a few months ago, and then all of a sudden all of his confidence was gone again, and that's on maybe that's on Senior, but in the grand scheme of things, like Sanchez is not a good enough goalkeeper. It should not be our number one goalkeeper. Like Philip Jorgensen, a terrible number two. I don't know where. I know we signed him via Real. Why we signed him, I just don't understand still. I know we got Mike Penders in the wings on loan at Strasbourg, who's having a very decent season on loan. Very young. Probably should get loaned out again so we don't throw him into this fucking mess. We should probably go get an experienced goalkeeper. I don't want to go back into the Magnan cycle again like we did that last summer. I don't really want to do that again. I'm not sure who I want for a goalkeeper, but we clearly need a goalkeeper. We still need two left wingers, in my opinion. I think Giddens has shown something. But like in general, like neither of those Giddens or Garnacho excite me. I want to send Pedro Neto to Venus and get somebody that actually plays more direct in. But yeah, like this is just the thing, like, that I think as a fan base, though, when we talk about the issues of ownership that we do have to accept is, we were calling for names like Rodrigo last summer. I think there's a part of the fan base that wanted Due or Barcola or just any of the, but that's, everybody would want those kinds of players. But we were looking for the next level of quality. And it seems like every time we're doing that, we're going to the step below. And I think, like, yeah, we spent a lot of money, but there's a difference between spending money and spending money well. And we haven't spent our money well. And I always refer to City when I talk about this because for a lot of years, and there's been some more rough signings recently, like the Savinhos of the world, and Reinders was good for a little bit, but not exactly panned out. I still think with time, like I think he'd be okay with next season. Like I think he'd be fine. Like I don't think they should sell him. Like the rumors are already circulating. But at the same time, like City, there's a long period of time where like you look at the last 10 City signings, and only one of them was really ended up being bad value for money. And I know we spent a lot of money, but like I think we really need to dive into the market and really find some experienced players, bring in a coach that will implement the style with like the name obviously every Chelsea fan's throwing around right now is Xabi Alonso. And, I don't know if he wants to come here. Obviously the prospect of getting to work with young players and knowing there's the board that's, as much as the board sucks, they are willing to throw money out there. I just think like, why would he come here right now though? Is at the end of the day, like he's seen what's happened with other managers. Why would he throw himself to the wolves like that? He just dealt with that with Real Madrid. So I don't see him coming, unfortunately. But if I'm Chelsea and I'm Blue Co, I'm going all in on Xabi Alonso. And I'm saying, draw me a list of players you would like, and we will do what we can. Like me personally, like the two names that I'm like, trying to follow the Blue Co strategy of, not following the Blue Co strategy. Two players I think would just be great
additions. You don't want to
to
follow that strategy
no.
right now.
Obviously, there's talks that they're going to look for more experienced players.
Yeah,
if you want to get two, like
experienced
we
players
can do
the ones you're looking for.
And granted, I don't know if either of them would want to come to us. But the two names that I think, like, especially because our defense, especially, is our problem right now. We can't keep a clean sheet for the fucking life of us. And even when we do keep clean sheets, we look like we're on the ropes every time we get attacked. So the two names that I'm throwing out there, which maybe some will agree with me and some won't, and they're both free transfers. So I'm sure Blue Co will love that because they don't have to spend money when they've already spent a lot. Marco Senesi from Bournemouth. I know he's on top of a lot of people's defensive reinforcement lists. I know that's going to be a tough one to get over the line, especially without Champions League football. When like Liverpool's going to, I think, wants him is going to go in with Champions League football with offer. That's one if you can get it over the line. I think will be a great partner with Colwell. or can be a great option if Colwell's hurt. But I think he's one that's a proven Premier League quality center back that brings in experience, which is what we need. Like, I think he is exactly what we need as a club right now. And then the other one that I almost want more than him, which I don't know. I don't think he's going to want to come to us. I think he's going to have better offers out there. And the other issue is his injury record isn't great. But John Stones, like,
Ooh, yeah.
like he's leaving for on a free. He's an experienced Premier League proven player. Obviously, his injury record is concerning, which is why I think if you brought in both of we need to bring in multiple center backs at the end of the day, anyways.
Yeah.
Like, we need to bring in 2 or 3 center backs in my mind, anyways, that are all ready to play now.
Those are 2 solid names to start too.
Yeah. So, like, my thought process is you sell Fofana, you sell Badiashile, you sell Tosin. You keep Chalba as like the 5th option, and then Hato can like be your 6th option and also your backup left back. And then you have like Achimpong too that also can fill in at center back and play right back. We also might want to loan him out, but that's a whole other can of worms. But and then you bring in Senezi, Stones, and then you can bring in at that point you have like Colwell, who's kind of like has some experience under his belt, but still like a younger player coming off of injury. You're bringing in 2 Premier League proven experienced defenders. And then if you want to bring in another young center half, bring them in as your other option. I think that would be a good model for the summer to fix our defensive issues.
Yeah.
I'd also send Gusto to Jupiter and bring in a new backup right back because he's not good enough. He'll never be good enough. He's had his moments, but he's had, I think, as many down moments as he's had positive moments. You need an extra midfielder because 3 of your midfielders can't seem to stay healthy. Most of the season we just had Enzo, Caicedo, and Santos that are able to play those 2 pivot roles pretty much.
Well, and then some kind of experience up front too,
Yep.
Get some kind of attacker that's
somebody
proven, or someone from around Europe who's got a goal scoring tally.
Yeah.
And that can be the talisman up front kind of thing, because that's what
obviously like I'm very high on João Pedro still. I think João Pedro should keep our striking position. Obviously, if we had more bargaining chip, that's the other problem is we're gonna have issues with bargaining to get players to come here when they're gonna have other options. The other option I was hoping for beforehand, if we were going to bring in a striker, I would want them to just go all out with Julian Alvarez. But that seems like a fever dream, like a fantasy at this point. Like, that's just not something I'm going to realistically see happening. I can't I think if we made Champions League and showed a little bit more promise this season, something that could have happened. But I just don't see that as an option anymore. So obviously we already have Amiga coming in from Strasbourg, which I think will be fine as a backup. Maybe should loan him out, get him a little bit more experience elsewhere first. Jackson's coming back from loan, which there's a large portion of the fan base for some reason that thinks bringing him back will fix Cole Palmer and we should play him on the wing, we can't pass for the fucking life of him. But it's just that whole Nicholas Jackson saga makes my brain fucking hurt.
One piece of the fucking puzzle. That's
I'll say this: would he be worse as a backup than Liam Delap? No. Liam Delap, another one. Send the fucking Uranus, get him the fuck out of here. I didn't like the signing when it happened. We can check back. I never was that high on him as a player. I didn't see him fitting in our team at all. And he's proven me even more correct than I thought I could be. Another victim of number 9 curse at Chelsea.
He was the shiniest turd that was on a team getting relegated. What do you expect? When you drop him into a team that doesn't have all the pieces figured out, he's not going to be the one that comes in and is like, I'm the, answered all your problems. Not really. He's just going to be, another piece to it.
Just to deep it, how fucking horrible this guy is. Forest didn't even play their starters against us, and we're in 1-3-1. They didn't start most of their starters. They made 8 rotations from their champions or their Europa League game against Villa. And they still, which granted, fucking Taiwo Awanyi, why he turns into fucking prime Drogba every time he fucking plays us, or prime R9, I don't understand. But every time we play this fucking geezer, he's just on some fucking smoke. And I don't get it. I don't get it. But whatever. That's beside the point.
Right.
But back to the conversation. If my options were sell Delap or sell Jackson and and keep one as a backup. Obviously, I'm sending Delap to the fucking like anywhere but here.
Yeah.
Send him to the fucking youth academy for all I give a shit. He's not fucking good enough to play fucking anywhere near the Chelsea first team.
Now,
Like I generally like he had 8 touches versus Forest and a half. 8.
yeah.
He completed 1 pass, I think. Like, what were you doing for 45 fucking minutes?
Yeah, you could be the passenger in the game sometimes, and like it's the point in the season.
There's
Like you're saying,
passengers, and then
nobody's
there's
showing up. Nobody is out there trying to take the game to themselves. Like and again, the only one who has been and was bad mouthing the club, and he's probably not even going to be here next season. So
yeah, like there's passengers in a game, and then they're sitting in the cuck chair. And Delap
pretty
was
much,
sitting in the fucking cuck chair all season long. Because this
yeah,
guy fucking stinks.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. He has
I
had
just,
no impact at all this year.
it just, I think his one goal, like,
Maybe,
I think his one prem goal, like, it's just like, oh, give me a break. Give me a fucking break. And we keep playing this guy when we have Mark Yu, who, like, has he shown that much when he's played? Not really. Had a great campaign in the Conference League last year. Like, we brought him back to be our third string striker. And he's, to be honest, he's shown more when he's played than Delap has. But we still insist on playing Delap over him. We have Mweka, or I always forget how to pronounce his name, in the academy. I think he was a top scorer on the under 21 Premier League this year, or Premier League 2, whatever they call it
okay,
nowadays.
yeah.
Top scorer. I think he averaged a goal per game. We've seen him at times, never really had that much of an impact. But why are we giving Delap all these minutes when he doesn't score, instead of giving our young talents? And I get Delap's technically a young talent too, but when we have these 2 other young talents at our disposal that play like they actually want to score a goal when they play. They don't run around with chicken with their head cut off and just foul people for the sake of fouling people because they can't do anything else on a fucking football pitch. It's just what it's mind numbing. It's fucking mind numbing.
It is. Yeah, I mean, I just let you go there. I let you just vent. I feel like a therapist that just let you just unload for 20 minutes. But it's mind numbing. It can kill you. But
and that's the thing is the fans want to blame the ownership, or they want to blame the manager, or this player's shit. But at the end of the day, it's just an accumulation of everything. We're a
right.
shit show. We are just simply a fucking shit show right now. Our best players, besides João Pedro, aren't showing up. If we're being honest with ourselves, they've had games for the rest of them, but in the general, this grand scheme of things this season, they haven't shown up. Our manager, we decided to bring in, terrible, and Maresca wasn't doing super well before that, but at least Maresca had an idea and a game plan, and the players clearly respected him. The players laughed at Racine or would mock him.
Yeah.
What are we It's and
Give
that's
teacher
for
status.
starters. That's on the captain, the leadership group in that locker room to not do that and not allow the players to do that, whether they agree or not. Your job as a captain is to lead.
Yeah.
And if your manager can't lead you, you have an even bigger responsibility to lead. And Reece James did not do that, and Enzo Fernandez did not do that at the end of the day. And I'm pretty sure there's rumors that both of them were ones that would make jokes with their senior or laugh at him or whatever too. So as far as I'm concerned, as much as we want to point fingers at the ownership, and the ownership's, I think, is a large reason for the problems we're having right now. But you just can't blame one person or one level of it. The recruiting's been poor.
No, it's a club structure issue. It's everything top to bottom club, needs to be completely washed out and just
Yep.
cleaned from top to bottom. The ownership management to the team management. Uh, yeah,
Yep.
it's
And our
huge.
failure to play the game properly and actually like decide we want to win games might keep Spurs in the Premier League.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
So we'll see with it.
and that's the biggest part. Like if we lose to Spurs at home, that is where I draw the line.
Yeah, that would be
Like
tough. That would be the toughest
that
L.
is the last, like, whatever happens this season. Like, yeah, we have the FA Cup final. I mean, anything can happen, but does anybody really think we're gonna win that? You know what I mean? Like, are we?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
the City's been like excellent the last couple weeks, but like, they Mark Gahey's got blood on his hands after what he fucking did the other day. Um, but like, does anybody really think we're gonna win that game? No. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
it's the placement of it and everything too. It comes at a weird point in the season here now, and so it's
and I feel bad for like what's going on right now with McFarland as the coach. Like, I feel bad for the guy. It's almost kind of like when Lampard came back. Um,
yeah, yeah.
like after Potter, he's just kind of coming into like a shit storm and expect to just kind of like steer the boat, and then as he's steering the boat, like the Kraken's attacking, and he's trying to like fend off the Kraken while it's like pouring rain, and then like Davy Jones rocks up and is trying to like shoot the boat down with a cannon everywhere, and
Too much
just
to
another
yeah.
boat throwing Molotovs at you, and Tyrion Lannister's like set wildfire to the water, and somebody setting the water on fire. Like it's just everything that can go wrong right now is going fucking wrong, and Cal McFarland's being expected to steer the boat through all this fucking chaos and nonsense. So it's just
3 more games in the league, my friend. 3
I'm
more
just ready
Premier
for it
League
to be
games.
over.
It's
I'm ready
almost
for it to
all
be
over.
fucking over.
4
I'm
more
ready for
games.
World Cup.
Another 4 more games.
I'm
Yeah,
ready to
Cup's
turn.
right around the corner.
I'm ready to turn my brain off from fucking Chelsea for a couple months and just enjoy watching and not being like, wow, my team's so shit. It's nice to watch a good team. Not the
Right.
United States is much better, but at least I don't expect anything out of the United States. So
Exactly. It'll just be the summer of scouting, the players that could potentially be coming to Chelsea.
yeah,
You
yeah.
but yeah, Cup's right around the corner, along with some other cups coming in the next couple weeks here. I think we can put a pin on that here in this hour in this episode. We'll jump back into some talks next week. We're going to have more games this upcoming weekend for the Premier League, and I think City plays 2 games by the time we record again, or it might be next Wednesday is their game in hand that they play. Either way, we're going to be coming back to some spicier stuff in the league next week, so stay tuned for that.
But my bold prediction is still that, and I've been saying it for a little bit now. Arsenal drops points versus West Ham.
Yeah, it's tough games.
That's been my take on it, because they're fighting promotion, really to stay up
Promotion.
and
I
not get
mean,
relegated.
yeah,
Um,
relegation versus the title. It's a huge
yeah.
game, and Tottenham, they're relying on us. How the tables have turned.
Well,
Friends, how the
expression said
tables
they're
have
not relying on them, but they are very much relying on you to help put the nail in the coffin for them.
Exactly. Yeah, not completely relying on us, but yeah, you
Yeah.
know what I mean. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. West Ham's going to be a tough one. I'm again dead inside, so I have no excitement for it. So we'll see what goes on.
You're dead inside.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
What
Nothing
do I have?
exciting.
What do I have looking forward to then if you're dead inside?
Exactly. Yeah. So I shouldn't really be saying that, but we'll tune in next time. We'll let you guys know how it's going. This is 71Kicks.
To my fellow Chelsea fans out there, stay strong. There's maybe light at the end of the tunnel, probably not, but stay strong, because that's all we can do, I suppose.